G'day, mate. So I decided to rank every Pokemon game. So I just found one that was online. So it wasn't actually every Pokemon game, but it's at least all the mainline games plus a few extras. So let me know in the comments what your favorite Pokemon game is, and yeah, let me know if you think any of my takes were absolutely terrible. Um, because some of them might be. I'm going to rank every Pokemon game. So I've got a tier list here. I don't know if every single one. Oh, it's got ZA, so I think it's got all of them. It might be missing one or two. I'm not sure. I'll go through them. If it's missing ones, I'll point them out. But I'm gonna make a tier list of Pokemon games. Yeah, I don't think any of them will rank too low. So, ones I haven't played, there won't be many. There is at least one or two that I haven't played. But yeah, let's give them a ranking. So, let's start off with Pokemon. Okay, so they put Pokemon Blue and Red together. I mean, look, it was the OG. It's tough because it is like the original. It's where it all started, but yeah, I mean for its time. Look, let's just leave it at B. That's in the middle. Pokemon Yellow. I'm gonna put Pokemon Yellow above because you could catch you get all the starters. You have Pikachu. It was like, you know, Ash's journey. It was pretty great. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna Pikachu. Yeah, we'll put Pokemon Yellow in A. I don't know if I'd put it S tier, but we'll shuffle them as we go. Pokemon Gold was actually the first game that I played. Now I've only played ROM versions of these, so it does have a special place in my heart. I'm gonna put it behind Yellow. Actually, I'm gonna put it above Yellow for the simple fact that playing Pokemon Yellow, looking at the colored version, kind of sucked. I'm not gonna lie. Pokemon Color, this is the first colored Pokemon game, and it looked pretty bad. Pretty much each like area you walked into would just have one color on it, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, the first time I tried to play it, it was jarring. Almost enough that would make me want to knock it down a peg, but for the game itself, it's pretty great. Now, I haven't played Pokemon Crystal. That is one I endeavor to play, but maybe they'll bring it to the Switch. Let's just Pokemon Sapphire and Pokemon. Sapphire and... Where's Pokemon Stadium? It's Coliseum. I don't have Pokemon Stadium on here. Well, that'd be S tier, but... Dude, how about this? Ruby, oh my god. Oh, wow, what the fuck? Why'd that just blank for me? Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby. Sapphire was I think actually the first game I played. First game I owned was Pokemon Gold, but I got it later in life. But I'm pretty sure the first game I ever played was Pokemon Sapphire. So it'll always hold a special place in my heart. But Gen 3 is still probably one of my favorite generations of Pokemon. So yeah, I'm giving it S tier. Yeah, it is fantastic. Pokemon Coliseum. I have played Pokemon Coliseum. Gonna be honest, I don't remember it that well. It's not as good as Gale of Darkness or XD. It was okay. But it's Pokemon Stadium was better. For me, at least, from memory. Fire Red, Leaf Green, it's just remakes. I'll put it in front because, I mean, it was a bit more fun. And it played better. So I'll put it above. There was a good remake. And
anyone that goes back and wants to play a Gen 1 game, they're playing Fire Red. Let's be honest, how many ROMs have been made of Fire Red? Everyone just uses Fire Red or Pokemon Emerald to make a ROM, like to make ROM hacks. So, Fire Red could almost be pushed up, but I'll just leave it as B tier. It's in the middle. Pokemon Emerald, S tier. Above, I think above. Yeah, I think above Sapphire and Ruby. It just added more to the game. Gale of Darkness is going in the A tier. Or does that say Game 1? Pokemon XD had Shadow Pokemon. I think Colosseum had Shadow Pokemon too, but Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, A tier for sure. I can maybe bump it up to S, but the bottom of S maybe, but it's definitely an A tier game. Or Diamond and Pearl Originals. I'm gonna put them above Heart Gold and Soul Silver, maybe above. No, it sucks. I might have to shuffle them around, but it's definitely an A tier. Platinum, which is next, will be like Diamond and Pearl. First games on the DS were so good, and for a lot of people that got into Pokemon, probably around the first ones that they played. So I played Diamond. It was a lot of fun. Diamond was great, but what topped it for, and kind of just, you know, it was better. It was Platinum. Pokemon Platinum is a fantastic game. It was still my favorite, and I don't think it can ever really be topped. Heart Gold and Soul Silver is, it's gonna be a close second or third, but Platinum, being able to get, we went into the Dark Dimension to catch Giratina. There's just so much more to the game. I gotta replay it. Maybe I'll try and figure out a way to stream. I'll probably just have to do a ROM. I don't think there's a way to play it legitimately currently, which sucks. Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Let's get an A. Or an S. I'll put it above. Honestly, remakes of the earlier games were so good. And I don't really know what made them so much better. Maybe the fact that you could bring in other Pokemon. You could trade in, you know, Gen 3 and Gen 4 Pokemon into Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold, but it probably made it better. I don't know. The mini games are also fun. You used to be able to. What were the mini games? It was like a competition thing. I don't think they had that in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. You had the bug catching competition, and that was it. And then they just add more to the remakes. I think Platinum had more post-game stuff as well, which made it fun. I'm trying to remember all the things you could do. I remember getting Arceus in Platinum as well. Black and White. D tier. Maybe E. I might knock it down, but we'll see. I'll come back to them in the end. Black and White. Not only did they somehow make the Pokemon themselves look worse in Black and White, but like from Gen 4 to Gen 5, not being able to catch any of the like original Pokemon, I think is why they made Black and White 2. And even then Black and White 2 wasn't my favorite. I mean, it was cool that they added like 150 new original Pokemon. And for some people, that's why they love it. For a lot of people, did not like Black and White. They weren't the worst. But I'm going to put Black and White 2 above. Maybe we'll put it at C. It still wasn't my favorite gen. The fact that I couldn't catch some of my favorite Pokemon in this game without events still bugs me to this day. The fact that I couldn't get a Genesect still bugs me. Okay. But they're still one of my favorite games. Catching Kyurem at the end was of Black and White. It was probably really the only good thing about Pokemon Black and White that I remember. Going to the area that he's in, or that Kyurem's in, trying to catch a Matang was a nightmare because it was like a level 50 and the catch rates are just terrible. It was almost impossible at that point. So yeah. X and Y. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I even finished X and Y. I'm gonna put them in C tier. It did add actually no, it added Mega Evolution. I never finished. I don't think I ever finished the game. I got up to be able to, because I had Pokemon Y. I got up to where you can catch Yveltal. I caught Yveltal, and then I think I stopped playing it. This is also around the time where I kind of lost interest in Pokemon games a bit. I was in high school and kind of stopped playing them as much. I guess that's probably why Black and White is also not as fondly looked on for me. Whereas like Platinum, Diamond and Pearl, Emerald, Sapphire, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, they're all in like my prime Pokemon days where I just loved the games. Issue with, I guess, Gold and Silver and some of the other ones is because I didn't have them. Obviously Pokemon Red and Blue came out well before I was born. I was born in 2000. Same with Pokemon. Gold, Yellow came out. When did Yellow come out? I think it was 98. Release date September 3, 1999 in Australia. So yeah, it was a year before I was born. Yeah, so that's probably why they sit a little bit lower, and that's why Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Emerald, it's a little bit higher on the list for me, at least. Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby. Alpha Sapphire was probably the best remake that they've done. It introduced a ton of new Mega Evolutions. It introduced a ton of legendaries you could catch all in the one game. It was the first time they really did that. I mean, in Platinum and like Diamond and Pearl, you could catch a bunch of the legendaries. Like they brought back, well, because they brought in Regigigas in Gen 4, you were able to catch all of the. Actually, no, you weren't. I don't think you were able to catch them in the game. You had to transfer them. So you had to transfer using the Poke Park thing. I can't remember. It was like rare. It was like you could swim there from the starting town. What's it called? I don't remember. From the starting town. Oh wait. Oh no. Was it from Sand Gem Town? Where you get your Pokemon. Where the professor is. I think you could swim there from there. And then you can trade your Pokemon over. But Oris was really the first time you could catch like all of the legendaries. Well, yeah, I think it was all of the legendaries at the time you could catch. Except for Xerneas and Yveltal, I think, which you would have just had to trade over. But yeah, it was great. You could go and catch. You would fly around on Mega Latias or Mega Latios and go and catch Pokemon at all different islands. It was good. You couldn't catch the mythicals, but you can catch all the legendaries, which was fantastic. And I think it was the first time I did online battling as well. Not that I took it very seriously or did much of it, but yep. Pokemon Platinum's still number 1, but I think Auras might be number 2 for me. Sun and Moon, meh. Z moves, meh. Fairy type, Fairy type came in X and Y. There was some good Pokemon that came from it. I'm gonna probably put it above. Sun and Moon was still fun. I would say when I replayed Black and White too, it was pretty good. But the fact that I could pretty much beat the Elite Four with Lucario, kind of knocks it down a bit too. Coming from Platinum, Diamond, and Pearl, where you probably the hardest Elite Four with Cynthia. Cynthia being an absolute nightmare. Yeah. Sun and Moon, the remake, probably better than the original. I would say, yeah, no, you know what, it added a fair bit more actually. I don't know if I would say it's better than the OG. I don't know, that's a tough one. Oh, look, I'll reassess at the end. And I also realized I didn't finish this one back in the day either. Also probably just because I was in high school, didn't care as much about Pokemon at the time. So until I sort of got out of high school, I got more back into Pokemon again. Oh, let's go Pikachu and Eevee. They're a lot of fun. They go in the A tier. They are a remake of Yellow. Obviously, it looks better than Yellow. My biggest issue with Yellow was the fact that it looks like dog shit. It's a good game, but it does look terrible. Some people might not have liked the fact that you caught Pokemon. Some people liked that you didn't battle wild Pokemon. But I did like the candy mechanics and a bunch of other things. Like, you could max out a Pokemon's stats without getting it above certain levels. Like, I remember my Pikachu was maxed out on stats at, like level 70, 60, something like that. I'd maxed out all its stats already, which was fun. But yeah, they were great. Sword and Shield. Oh. Sword and Shield. Now, that's tough. Do I think it's better than X and Y? Yes. Do I think it's better than the Gold series? I think it's better. Do I think Sword and Shield's better than Diamond and Pearl? That's tough. That's tough. Parts of it. I think there are parts of it that are amazing, and there are parts of it that aren't. As an adult, like if I was a kid and I played that, if you gave me both games, I would probably go Sword and Shield. But as an adult, playing that game, it was still a really good game, I'm not gonna lie. One of the best ones to come out. I would say better than all the 3DS games. Easily. Besides Aurus, but that's really just a good remake. I would say it's better than all of the other ones. Mostly, I wasn't the biggest fan of Sun and Moon, as you can probably see by the fact that I've given them a B and a C rating, and Black and White given a D and a C rating. I don't know why I've got Colosseum there. It could next be in a C. Yeah, I haven't played Crystal, so I can't really say much about that. I know you could catch Celebi in it, so if that automatically basically gives it an A. But anyway, I would give Sword and Shield, if I could put them next to it, like in line with each other, I probably would. I would say they're about as good as each other. Diamond and Pearl. it just holds too much sentimental value. But so the good things about Sword and Shield. The wild area. The wild area I really liked. It had all of the being able to catch overworld Pokemon is great. It was a lot of fun. It was way better than random encounters. Made the game a lot easier and more fun to try and finish the Pokedex. Instead of having to try and get the rare encounters, you're just going to run around and hope they spawn. Instead of having to run around in the grass for an hour trying to get the lucky spawn. So that made it so much easier. It made me actually want to finish Pokedexes. Now, the things that I didn't like as much about it was how easy it was, especially towards the start. You really barely have to train. You can just catch Pokemon instead of like training Pokemon up. The candies made it way easier as well, which sure, it makes it less tedious, but you know, and as well as with when you do train and battle, you have the whole team gains EXP instead of having using the EXP share. Made the game just way easier, so it's hard to tell, hard to really pick between which one is better. But I'm going to leave it there for now. Sword and Shield was great. Gigantamax is cool. Is it as cool as Megas? I'm not sure. I did love the soundtrack that played when you did Mega Evolve your Pokemon. So that made it more fun. Scarlet and Violet. Scarlet and Violet. Now, some people would give it an F tier. I honestly wouldn't. Scarlet and Violet. Do I think it's better than Sun and Moon? Yes, I think they're better than the Sun and Moon games. I might put Scarlet and Violet around here. In the middle of B. I enjoyed the games a lot. Being able to catch a ton of Pokemon. It's the first game that I actually finished the Pokedex on. Partly because it's not that hard to do. I did like being able to go around on a Pokemon. The first time that introduced that was Arceus. And having to transition between the different Pokemon was kind of annoying. Having the full freedom in a game as well. Not being trapped by whatever. A bush. Made it pretty good as well. Honestly, I would put it higher. Now, I never ran into the issues that people had. I never had any bugs. Yeah, the spawn rates, if you played on the Switch 1, aren't great. Playing on the Switch 2, so I wish I could make two versions of this. Because Switch 2, I would put it up here. It's just as good as Sword and Shield. Terrestrializing Pokemon, meh. It's kind of a nothing mechanic. But I think people would be pissed off if I put it as good as Sword and Shield. I would still say Sword and Shield storyline better than Scarlet and Violet, but the I did like the future and past Pokemon. That was fun. The Area Zero is good. The DLCs were good. Maybe better. I would say the DLCs are probably better than. Well, I don't know. Crown Tundra was pretty good. Iron Isle or whatever the other one was pretty good as well. I don't know. Yeah, I would say the DLCs for both of them are pretty even, but I would think you kind of get more out of Indigo Disc. They need to out of Crown Tundra. But I'll leave that up to you. Switch 1 version, I would say mid B tier. If you're playing it on the Switch 2, it's probably a high A. I don't know if I'd give it S tier, but it was a really good game, and I think people hate on it more than they should. Because it's still a good game, it's still a good Pokemon game. So, Diamond and Pearl remakes. I'm gonna give them... Look, it was a pure remake. They just made it look worse. Do I think it's as bad as OG Black and White? No. Do I think it's better than Black and White 2? I would say the last time I played Black and White 2, I probably enjoyed it more than playing Diamond and Pearl remakes. To be honest, I don't know, the Underground... Catch Pokemon Underground was pretty good. That was a good change. There was one change for the remake that I did like. What I didn't like was the way you would catch legendaries. With having to get the tablets, it was just a big grind that I never bothered with. I was 2 Pokemon off of completing the Pokedex. What are you doing? Coming up where you... I was 2 Pokemon off of finishing the Pokedex. Celebi, which I missed an event for, and Spinder, which you can't trade into the game because of a code bug. Or at least when it came out. I don't know if that ever got fixed. And you could only catch it on certain times of the day, on a certain day, and it would rotate. I think, from memory. I just know I couldn't, I wasn't able to get it because it was a pain in the ass. Do I think it's better than Sun and Moon? Do I think it's better than Black and White 2? No, I might put Black and White 2 above Sun and Moon. Remake wasn't that bad. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm over Black and White 2, Sun and Moon. Yeah, I like that better. I really wasn't a big fan of Sun and Moon. Oh, you know, Sun and Moon. Yeah, we'll do that. Arceus is an S tier. I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna put it there. Red and Emerald. Again, you gotta really look at it because I've played a lot of these games as an adult. If I look at it as, and I played Emerald when I was a kid. If I look at it as, if I was given Pokemon Arceus as a kid when I was like 12, which one am I gonna like more? I'm probably gonna say Arceus. Maybe Arceus as an adult is more fun. I'm gonna put Arceus above Emerald. I'm gonna keep Aurus above Arceus, just because of the post-game stuff. Arceus was also one that I finished the Pokédex on. I think it was the second game that I finished the Pokédex on. Or was it the first? It might have been the first, actually. And then Scarlet Violet was the first mainline game. Anyway, Pokemon ZA. Oh, that's tough. It's up here, but where up here is it? It's not better than Platinum. It's... It's like, Legends Arceus, but focused on battling instead of catching. Which is tough. But the fact that the battles are so easy... I don't know. let me rank them up against each other. So against Sapphire, really there isn't that much in Sapphire. Classic game, and it'll still always be S tier for me, but is it better than the newest game? With all the megas, the DLCs, which I haven't played yet, which I want to play, look a lot of fun. Oh, and the battling. Well, I forgot about the battling. How you battle. Oh, it might be my number 2. Just because of the battling mechanic makes it so good. It makes it an amazing game. That's why it's so good. I completely forgot about the battle mechanic that you get to run around, move your Pokemon. Oh. I forgot about that. Possibly because half the time you're these battles you can just blitz them, and you don't really have to use the mechanic too much unless you're going up against like alpha Pokemon. But other than that, and the mega boss Pokemon, but against most of the trainers, you're not really like outskilling them with your battling. You just kind of just steamrolling them, I guess. So yeah, I would put it number 2. Platinum is still my goat. I never played Crystal. At least never finished it from memory. I might have played a pass. I think I started a ROM for it. But that, again, that could have been a ROM hacked version. I honestly can't remember. So let's review. We've got Platinum, number 1. It's just my goat. It's just, it'll always be my number 1. I think, would it come out in like 2009? I think? I was like 9 years old. So, I mean, you can't really beat that as a kid. Like your favorite game. Let me have a look. Oops. Pokemon Platinum. Released internationally 2009. Yeah, so that makes sense. So I was 9 years old. Yeah, it's gonna be my favorite freaking game. Are you kidding me? As a 9-year-old. Yeah, there's a reason that's my favorite. Played it when I was 9 years old. It also, yeah, it added a bunch more stuff, and I think it's the one that I probably played the most as a kid, and like kept playing in the post game with like the battle tower and all that at the end. And Giratina was just sick, and the way you go into the underworld to get him as well, or the upside down world or whatever it was. It was basically you go to hell. Better than the way you'd catch Giratina in Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. It was a pain in the ass to catch him then. ZA, look, the new mechanic with battling and being able to move around and active battling, basically, like it feels like you're playing the anime. It's probably as close to real Pokemon battles you're ever going to get. And I hope they keep it in for the future. So, I mean, yeah. It was an amazing game, and I hope they continue in that direction. If they can, like, somehow do a big open world game like Scarlet and Violet with this mechanic, with the battling mechanic, it'd be insane. Even if it's not quite on the Scarlet and Violet's level with the full open world map, which was pretty massive. Even though, I mean, ZA's map's pretty massive as well. It's a lot bigger than you think, looking at just the town. But because there's the traversal just isn't there, you don't have the thing you're riding around on and jumping and flying and whatever else. So the map feels just as big as Scarlet and Violet. Horus, the post game was just unbeatable, and I mean, Gen 3 gameplay with Mega Evolution. I mean, you can't really get much better than that. If it wasn't for the fact that the Platinum, it was probably one of my most played Pokemon games. Legends ZA just brought in a new mechanic that's insane. With the Alpha Pokemon and the more Mega Evolutions, Horus would probably be number 1. Like, these three are pretty close. Arceus not far behind them. It was just the battles is kind of not there. There's really not much battling. The boss battles. I mean, there's some tough boss battles, I guess. And battling against the guy that has 8 Pokemon. It's kind of crazy as well. But, you know, and the game itself, Arceus, is great. All the lore and all the different legendaries you can catch, them all being able to actually be catchable, and all of that. Fighting Arceus at the end, and catching Arceus is great as well. You catch Arceus, don't you? I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure I have to finish get every Pokemon. I might need to go back and see if I had caught him. Anyway, Emerald. It's just a better version of Sapphire and Ruby, really. And the tower is such a pain in the ass to get up. It's so rewarding when you get to the end and actually get one of my favorite all-time Pokemon, which is Rayquaza, which for most people would probably be pretty similar. It is quite a loved Pokemon, and is why many Pokemon card sets that have Rayquaza in them are pretty good. Or are quite expensive. Having Rayquaza basically bumps it up a bit. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, probably the second best remakes after Horus. Of course, adding new features, adding new games. It was the first time they had the little Pokeball walk around thing that just came with it. You didn't have to go and buy it separately. It just came with the game. That was a pretty cool feature. It was their Pokemon's first attempt to get people outside walking around with their Pokemon. Because the more steps you did, would level up your Pokemon as well. I think you could hatch eggs on there. I can't remember. It was a while ago. I think I still have one or two of them somewhere, with a bunch of my old DS games as well, and Game Boy games. Pokemon Sapphire and Ruby. I don't know if I have played Ruby as a ROM, but Sapphire was kind of my OG game, really, and was just, you know, Hoenn's still one of the best regions in my opinion. Diamond and Pearl. I don't know why it's A. It should be S. Maybe it's a bit biased. Diamond and Pearl were amazing games. The digging underground, I'll be honest, was kind of a meh feature. Kind of a nothing feature. Just added more to the game, I guess. And creating a base. That was the only... I don't know what is Game Freak's fascination about creating a base that they had for Gen 3 and 4. You got to customize a room with teddies. And rugs and some furniture. What was that about? It added nothing to the game. If you don't remember, in Gen 3 you used to be able to use hidden power on certain places, and it would make a room for you to be able to customize, and you can get Pokédolls and furniture, and it really didn't. That was about it. It didn't give you any bonus features. In the remakes, it did add features. You could get statues that would give you bonuses, so I guess that was good. But in the original, I don't think you gained any bonuses. So yeah, A tier. It's only A because Platinum is S, so Gen 4. I'm leaving it at the top of A. Sword and Shield. Dynamaxing was cool. It was okay. It was better than Z moves. Probably not better than Mega Evolution, but again, look, X and Y I don't look that fondly on. It didn't add a ton of Pokemon. That part of it was kind of lazy, but I guess it did add Mega Evolution, so there's probably limitations on how much they can put into the game, because they basically added... I don't remember exactly how many Megas there were, but they added all of them, so it's basically the same. Gale of Darkness. I played Pokemon Colosseum and Gale of Darkness. I put Gale of Darkness here just because it was the better of the two. Pokemon Colosseum I did play a fair bit when I was really young. Gale of Darkness, I went back and played on a ROM. That's how much I really wanted to go back and play it again. Now this doesn't have all the Pokemon games, but that's fine. Because it's missing Pokemon Rumble, Pokemon Ranger, Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, all the Mystery Dungeons. The Mystery Dungeon remake was good. Actually, Pokemon Snap. He's missing a lot. Anyway, this is like the main ones anyway. So, yeah, I'm going to put Gale of Darkness up there. Shadow Pokemon was good. It really did just feel like a normal, I guess a real Pokemon game. This Pokemon Colosseum... Can you catch Pokemon in Pokemon Colosseum? I honestly can't remember. But you could catch your own Pokemon, you could steal their Shadow Pokemon from people, purify them. It was a pretty good game, and for the time, like if they do a remake or make a new version of Gale of Darkness, they probably never will, just because these new ones are basically like just better 3D games. But I would love if they did a remake one day. Gold and Silver are just, you know, they're Pokemon Gold was the first game that I ever owned. Sapphire I rented and borrowed. Back when game stores would let you rent games and video stores. And then I borrowed it from my cousin and played it. But Pokemon Gold, a friend of mine gave it to me because he had no interest in Pokemon. I don't know why he had it. But yeah, he gave it to me. And I still have it to this day. And I remember waiting. Remember when I first got it? Back in the day, you probably, well, maybe most of my audience seems to be around my age or older. There was these little battery packs in the games that, and like memory storage. You would have to get that recharged or restored to be able to save the game. So I couldn't make any progress in the game, so what I would do is I wouldn't turn my Game Boy Advance off. I would I had a Game Boy Advance SP, the one that closed. I would leave it running on charge to be able to then come back to it like the next day, because I couldn't save the game until I got it fixed, basically. So I'd leave it running, and I think the furthest I got was maybe the 4th or 5th gym, and then it turned off on me one time, and then I eventually got the game fixed because it wouldn't let me save, and yeah, so a lot of good memories from Pokemon Gold, and it was a great game. Gen 2. Gen 2 is probably my third favorite generation, behind Gen 3 and 4. That's tough between Gen 3 and 4. They're both really good. Gen 3 or Gen 4. That's tough. Yeah. Probably Gen 4. The Pikachu and Eevee. Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee are the reason I bought a Switch in the first place. Because I only bought it when that came out. It was also the same time that Super Smash Bros. Came out on the Switch as well, so I bought it at the same time. I think they both came out like either on the same day or around like in the same week. So I went and bought a Switch, Pokemon, and Super Smash Bros. All at once. So yeah, and it was a lot of fun. I liked the candy mechanic and all the other stuff, being able to throw Pokeballs, and it made shiny hunting. It was probably the first game that made shiny hunting easier because you could specifically target Pokemon and just keep catching and catching and catching instead of having to try and get lucky. Pokemon Yellow OG game. It's basically the same as Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. It just looks terrible. It's an old game, but it was the first one to come out in color. If it was in black and white, I think I would honestly like it more. It was just so jarring to look at, especially if you're playing it on an emulator on a computer and the screen's going to be a decent size. On a handheld Game Boy, it probably wasn't as jarring because it's tiny. But the color scheme is pretty awful and just hard to look at. X and Y, first time Mega Evolution was introduced. I don't remember finishing the Elite Four or beating all. I think I beat all the gyms. I just don't think I beat the Elite Four, to be honest. Mostly because I couldn't even remember who the champion was when I watched some of the anime. So, and then I went back and went to play it a few years ago. Realized that I didn't beat the whole game. I caught a Zygarde. I caught the Zygarde though that was in the cave. I do like Zygarde a lot. But yeah, I'll leave it there at the bottom of A. Mostly because it introduced Mega Evolution and a lot of other pretty cool Pokemon. Volcanion, still one of my favorite mythicals. So is Genesect, but black and white just sucks. Yeah. Leaf Green, Fire Red, classics, remakes of the OGs, which are next to it. I mean, one other one that I played a fair bit. Also, probably the game that I replayed. Either Emerald or Pokemon Fire Red was probably the one I played the most, just because of the ROMs and the ROM hacks. You know, where they basically just use Kanto and make the game, add stuff to the game, make it more fun. It's B. It's always going to be in the middle. It's the OG. It's got the classic Pokemon that everyone still loves. You know, but compared to all the new games and all the different features and ideas they've come up with and all of that, it's the top of B. Scarlet and Violet, again, if you're just voting on whether it's on the Switch 2, it would be higher. But it came out on the Switch. A ton of people had problems with it. I never really played it on the TV, and I think maybe that's where people had issues. Because when I just played a handheld, I never had a single problem. Mostly, so I just played on the original one. It looked fine. I never had any bugs or issues. Except for when I went to play it on the Switch 2. It was the first time I had a bug where in the olive rolling thing, the olive got stuck in the ground. That was the first time I had a bug, and I never had a bug in the Switch 1 version. But a lot of people did. And terrestrializing, honestly, the raids were cool, but that's about it. But the Dynamax raids were probably better. My Sword and Shield's up higher. Yeah, it was still a good game, and I still think it's better than some other games as well. So, Black and White 2 was good. It was just black and white with more Pokemon, and being able to get some OG Pokemon, like being able to get Riolu, was probably the best part of it. But again, I was able to beat the entire Elite Four with pretty much just exclusively with Lucario. I think I swapped in Electros once for one of the Elite Four. I can't remember who. And maybe one other swap, but I can't remember. But I pretty much beat it all with it was a Bone Rush, Dragon Pulse, maybe Earthquake, and then like a Steel move or something. I can't remember. But yeah, you can pretty much just wipe all of them with a Lucario. Like, I don't know if you remember back in the day, before, well, in Black and White 2 it had it, but you had to train up Pokemon individually, like most of these games, before Sun and Moon era, where they added Universal XP share. If you really wanted to and you were struggling to train up and you didn't want to grind for all the hours it takes to grind to train up an entire team of Pokemon, you could just train up like a Lucario to level 70 and wipe the Elite Four, and the champion. Diamond and Pearl remakes, they were good, but they really didn't add much else besides the underground, and post-game I wasn't a big fan of. To get all the legendaries was just a big grind and just a pain in the ass, really. I ended up just trading legendaries from other places to do the Pokedex. Sun and Moon remakes, they were okay. They just added a lot of extra stuff to them. It was fine. It was a game. Well, there were the remakes, so there was like extra ones. They were kind of like the Black and White 2. They just made a second version. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They were okay. All the different Ultra Beasts. The Ultra Beasts are cool, actually. That's probably the redeeming quality and why it's not in C tier, is that it's just that little bit better. Sun and Moon, they were fine. It's an okay game. The only thing that really lets it down is Z moves. Universal XP share was nice, but again, I played all the original games where you didn't have to have that. So, grinding in a Pokemon game, it just basically made all these games easy now. Yeah. Coliseum was fine. I still think Pokemon Stadium was better, but I did play Pokemon Stadium a lot as a kid on Nintendo 64. But again, it was more of just a party game and I just played the hell out of it. Black and White. The first time I played Black and White, I was disappointed that I couldn't catch any Pokemon from previous generations. So all my favorite Pokemon I couldn't catch. Is pretty big disappointment when you first start playing a Pokemon game. And every other Pokemon game has been, you know, I think Magikarp's in like every game. I don't think there's a single Pokemon game that doesn't have Magikarp. Except for Black and White. But yeah, you couldn't catch any of the original Pokemon, and I wasn't a big fan of a lot of the Pokemon in Black and White. Nowadays, maybe a little bit more, but there's not a ton of Pokemon, and the better Pokemon not being able to catch some of them. I honestly couldn't tell you what my team was back in the day. I think I had Samurott, Darmanitan. Yeah. I know I had the dog. What was that called? I honestly can't remember. Well, it's slipping my mind at the moment. But yeah, look, as games go, it's probably the worst Pokemon game. Crystal I haven't really played, so I can't just judge that, but I know you can get Celebi in it, so probably if I played it, it would probably just be above Gold and Silver, the same way that Emerald's better than Ruby and Sapphire, same way the Platinum's better than Diamond and Pearl. But yeah, that sums up my tier list. I yapped for a long time, so let me know in the comments what your favorite game is and how badly you disagree with my choices, because I'm sure you will, as everyone will, because no one's opinions are the same. But let me know. Maybe you do have similar opinions. Maybe there's some things about certain games that I'm forgetting, like some mechanics, or maybe some things that I'm overhyping that weren't as good as what they were or are. It'd be interesting to go back and play all of the games again. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be some people that agree with me on Black and White being the worst Pokemon game, worst mainline game, because there were definitely some worse games that have come out. The new Pokemon Snap would go underneath. It'd probably hit E tier. But yeah, let me know in the comments and leave a like if your favorite Pokemon game was my favorite Pokemon Platinum, or if leave a like if any of these S tiers are your favorite Pokemon games. And yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.